When it comes to teaching grammar, there are two basic approaches to teaching grammar. And you're probably familiar with these. One is the deductive approach, and the other is the inductive approach. And basically, the deductive approach is the typical sort of traditional approach that we've used in language teaching, whereby we tell students what the rules of grammar are, and then students practice and learn the grammar from that point. An inductive approach is slightly different. An inductive approach has students look at examples of language and encourages students to sort of infer and to figure out what the rules of language are from the presentation material. So students have an opportunity to figure out and work out what the rules of grammar are before they go on to practice and use them in context again. In Touchstone, we use an inductive approach to grammar teaching. And the reason we do this is that research has shown that if you use an inductive approach, students are much more likely to engage with the grammar, they're much more likely to retain it in long-term memory, it's a much more effective way of learning the grammar rules in the language. So we use an inductive approach, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how we do this in the material. We have a section called Getting Started, and in this section of the material, students see the language in a very natural context. So we have conversations, we have quizzes, we have interviews, all kinds of different natural context in which you would find language used. And the grammar is presented in a very natural way in an authentic context. The next stage of activity we have is called Figure It Out. And the Figure It Out activity is the key to the inductive approach in our material. The Figure It Out activity is where we have students go back and look at the grammar in the context, in the material that we've presented, and we ask them to notice things about the language that's being used. And after they've looked and they've noticed and they see how the language is being used, we encourage them to figure out the grammar rules for themselves. So it's a very important part, the Figure It Out. Then, after the Figure It Out, then we present the grammar in a grammar chart, the kinds of grammar charts that you're already familiar with in your teaching, and show the students the rules, and they can see, after they've figured it out for themselves, what's in the grammar chart and how the language actually works. And following on from that, then we go into practice of the grammar in a very controlled way, and then into a personalised, more open practice also.